Cause when you in them streets, you get more endemic. They don't tell you gon' be on papers and on restrictions. My father said a hard head'll make a soft ass. I didn't care, I wanted fear when I walked past. In a place where a black man's blood is cheap, I thank the Lord for the day I was on Lake Street. Pissing in the cup, back and forth to court. Found the DC school, I swear it felt like I cried on that fucking porch. The Lord said, my sheep, they ain't hear my voice. Asked me why I'm UPK, I told them I ain't have a choice. They said God ain't 50-50 and what's gonna come to pass. The Lord called me out the world and I started running fast. All I wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. I.S.U.P.K more mighty make me this hit man. Reminiscing on the pain that was felt. Shit, I was in the jail. Shit, I needed help. But Twan was locked up and the judge put man on the shelf. Heavy cry cause it felt like I was left by myself. All I wanted was to impress niggas with my grinding. Now I ain't trying to prove shit to nobody but Muhammad. Cause most these niggas lie, pump smoke. One time for the most high, he made me a cutthroat. Cause all I ever wanted was to smash my opponents. Stacking cash, not knowing it wouldn't last. Then God, I hope you accept my atonement. Cause all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster.
West till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I'm one weekend heresy and get you fucked up apparently. It's like they daring me. I said chill, they ain't hearing me. They ain't listening. Every bar nitroglycerin. Hit your heart, bring it back to start, make you live again. Get them dividends or we start getting ignorant. I be on that soldier shit, I told you shit phenomenal. Nah, but he a domino, so what you suckers trying to do? Rhyming comical, guess it's funny until I'm bombing you. Bring apocalypse to them pussy niggas that's popping shit. Team of all-stars, I coach them up like I'm Popovich. Fuck the politics and the lobbyists and apologists. They vagina, so we gon' check them like gynecologists. It's kinda obvious how the situation is ominous. The way I vomit this and regurgitate for the audience. They start applauding this cause the competition is fraudulent. From the era where niggas smoke you up like a parliament. The flow been stupid, shit has gotten retarded since. All the dominance of one West rising to prominent. Cause I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. I be one West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me. They want a nigga quiet, mute my maneuvers, but I ride like I got Groupon for Uber. Rhymes hard like they've been viewed by Medusa. 9 milli Luger, 17 in the Ruger. Only need a few to sit up in your medulla. Obligata for the regatta, niggas wildin', they win every dollar. They riding by in black Impalas, let the semi holler. A showstopper, been a stopper since the teeny bopper. But now I'm growing them off Patron, a premium of vodka. I put extensions on the Glock, modified the chopper. niggas war heavy, war ready, and that's word to mama. No marijuana, say I got the loudest silence on it. When I'm up on it, ain't no rapper do it like I do it. A lot of spitties and writers, but when the heat's on, none of them can get to the fire around with me. And I had a nigga spin like a tire, down the deep, and I'm still dope as a piper. Every bar burn hard like a spoon with a lighter. Fuel to igniter, I'm winning, coming through with the title because U.P.K. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me.
I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. I can't fight the cops and the ops. Stolen Glocks, heavy on the block. While a crack tucked in the sock. And still help the ones I love. We was on the block for the grub. If you from my side, then it's love. Wanted big knots, busting out the jeans, but we was hurting on the fiends. Without that crack, he look just like me. Dirty nigga from the concrete, but the white man dealt his hand. So we eating up the trash can. People ride by, don't extend a hand, cause to them, this an average black man. So for him, that's why I gotta make it. I ain't talking rap. Before the slave ships, I'm one of a kind. Y'all can't take it. I can never leave my spot vacant, cause I'm black. I see crowns and I take it, cause I'm black. I never been in no spaceship, but I know a UFO when I see it. I know that it's gonna come when I need it. I put faith in God more than Bible readings. War don't play that shit. Address them when you see him. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Learn to flip pennies cause I'm black. Know about semis cause I'm black. Yeah, in the hood we was strapped 10 toes down, we wear sacks. Substitute Israelite with black. And you gotta guess where I'm at. I be with the priest chillin' hard, right on Malcolm X Boulevard. To you niggas, to me the stars. Everything about my life is hard, but I'll never fold, play my cards. You want beef? What's the cause? Watch your mouth, I hit hard. Back up for you need gauze. Everything you say, mad pause. Every move I make is within them laws. And I've been the boss, cause it's beneficial. Ask the enemy, I've been official. If not for weed, I've been the official. Homie, I understand why you smoke. Been depressed and slave boats, but the Bible is the cheat code. Far blunts don't need those. Brotherhood is life's cheat code. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. I don't gotta buy J's cause I'm black. I don't play 2K just cause I'm black. Fought my whole life cause I'm black. But I left his eye blowing black. Ain't got a trap cause I'm black. Ain't got not one face tat. But I'm still getting profile, cause I fit these crackers profile. Scruffy beard with a dark skin, baggy sweats with the butter Timbs. So they know they can't butter him, so they rather jail sound Muslim him. If you touching him, and you comfort him, cause I'm a law keeper, a peace bringer, no tranquility, a peace bringer. Deuce in the street sweeper, covers clip, I be spicing shit. But gunned I would die in the icy wrist, that showed in my chest ain't for blocking shit. Touch me, I'm all on you blocking shit, cause I'm black. You think I gotta cock the fifth? Well, that's a stereotype, that's accurate, cause crackers laying niggas in these cold streets and then telling my brother he got a beef with me. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. So I'm black.
Purchase your tracks today.
been waiting for a minute for something authentic. Came in the truth and bossed in it. Made niggas regroup. Had to shed light on the false image. U.P.K. whole court. Now who the fuck won scrimmage? 2 words for soft niggas. What is good riddance? Don't affiliate with feminine symptoms. I know you feel me, nigga. This a death threat to hip hop. You don't stop that weak shit, I'ma mix your lean with some Grimlock. When the last time you heard it this raw? What I wish for's when the earth inherited by the piss fall. We been to war, them the ones I'm taking risks for. Ain't got no picks or no cars to hold. Holy angels watch my steps, them Glock guard my soul. Can't let them leave my body cold. I know you feel me, nigga, let the wicked weep and the meek prevail. God never been 50-50, I shall now awake and sleep a cell. Let the righteous cry, silence the pretender. A rebel without a cause, as long as I remember. Now taking the kingdom, the only thing on my agenda. Can't avoid me, nigga, middle finger to the ones that try to destroy me. Revenge of beauty, I'm a beast. I told the bitch she can't eat, let she join me for dinner. My God ain't got no regard for a sinner. One call fall on him like timber. I know you feel me, nigga. In the eyes of terror, I stand still. Go to work for the colony, bring it back to the anthill. Plus everything I drop heavy as an anvil. Show you how to stand like a man in this damn field. I know you feel me, nigga. Fuck equality, it gotta be one man win and the rest lose. Wave devastator, I'm calculating my next move. U.P.K. with real niggas seek refuge. Body shots for bars, that'll get you bruised. My niggas whole rank, check your little attitude. I came to fuck up your mood on your little holiday like I'm Mr. Scrooge. Resurrected from the grave, walking from the fall. Visions in my eyes, gripping the mic, screaming God bless the underdog. Down by the letter, and live by that protocol. Walk by faith, not by sight. Ain't no hope for getting struggles. Life like double war, resist. Okay, I'm left posting everything.
Purchase your tracks today.
If Rome ain't on it, what is it?
I ain't have to die to meet the devil. Angels fell and landed in the ghetto. The earth was given to the hands of devils. Then we seen the rise of the devil. We fell for the lies of the devil. When we got high was the devil. I looked into the eyes of the devil. I ain't have to die to meet the devil.
I remember I was only 13 when I met the demon. Gave me a deuce and a bundle of cocaine. Told me to sell to my people, make sure you keep them fiending. If any try to shoot you, make sure that you leave them leaking. He said,
I'ma hold you down when problems pop up.
how you got me moving this dope? Want me in lockup? He said,
Don't you want the Benz vertible with the top cup?
Yeah.
Stop, bitch, and get in that kitchen. Let it rock up. Bitches love the dope boy, especially when it's wop up. I know you know Ron.
who the plug from by the block up?
I'll tell you a little secret. Make sure that you keep your mouth shut. Ron got a Lexus, crib in Philly and Texas. Trips to the Bahamas, just got a whip for his mama. He fucking up them commas, be honest, he seeing decent though.
I hear you, but I just seen Ron about a week ago. In fact, he ain't looking too good.
Shalom. We are the I.S.U.P.K. coming out of 1 West on the 25th Street, Harlem, New York, and the Commander GEN.YAHANNA. Today's topic is the precursor to the Christian pastor and the attack on the laws. Now, with the Christianity is the thing that goes directly against the law. I mean, if the Lord say black, they say white. I mean, this is direct. It's a polar opposite. So with the truth coming out and everything, I don't see how people are still stuck in their days unless they really, really want to be. Y'all hear about that? Now, remember we was talking all that stuff about these mass evictions and all of that?
Yeah. Right.
You know, think about it. All of this stuff is like a butterfly effect from, the laws and everything being attacked long ago. What we seeing now is like the, you know, stuff is so bad now, you know, because what they gave us Christianity and took away the laws, and we chose Christianity. Now we suffer behind mass evictions. Well, no such thing as no eviction in our own land.
Right.
You know, even when we was in captivity to other lands, you know, like in Babylon and stuff like that, what the Most High tell us? He told us to build our own houses. You know, we were a separate society inside their society, just like we see other nationalities operate here in America today.
That's right.
We was able to do that then. This is the only empire that we were not separated from. This is the, you know, excellency of integrating right here.
Right.
You know, this is the worst you done had. This is worse than ancient Egypt.
Right.
This one's worse. This is also the daughter of Egypt too.
That's right.
You know, this is worse. Think about it. At least in the first, you know, hell, we had our own land at first. We was in Goshen. Nobody could evict you out of Goshen until, you know, all the patriarchs died off. And what did we want to do? We wanted to go down into the city, right? Instead of being, you know, the farm boys that we were meant to be, right?
Right.
We wanted to go down into the city and see how the Egyptians get down, you know? And next thing you know, we ended up as their slaves. Hell, we didn't have no defenders anymore. We didn't have no strong judges telling us, get your ass back to Goshen. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have none of that. So everybody started doing what they wanted to do, and it resulted in us going into slavery. And homelessness, it shouldn't. Last time anybody ever seen, you know. And I'm saying they can set up that stuff, at least have a damn roof over their head, right?
Right.
I mean, yeah, but look at us, the situation that we in, because of the attack on the laws, and the Christian pastors and all of that is surely for it.
That's right.
Because they get to live and eat deliciously and live rich off of it. And that's what that woman, that Kamala Harris, whether she's an Israelite or not, that's how she gets back also. And no telling who her mama's people was. You know, no telling. Just like Barack Obama's mama was kin to the Bushes.
Right.
So now you start to paint a picture of how he got in that position.
Right.
You know, her people, you know, her mother's people anyway, were East Indians. No telling, they might have been, you know, slave owners too.
Right.
You know. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 4 and 14.
Come on, sir. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 14. For out of prison he cometh to reign, whereas also he that is born in his kingdom becometh poor.
Yeah, take it up a verse.
Come on, sir. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 13. Better is a poor and a wise child.
Better is a poor and wise child. You know, go ahead.
Come on, sir. Than an old and foolish king who will no more be admonished.
When the white man comes down, he's no longer going to be admonished. As a matter of fact, it's going to look like he never even ruled.
Right.
Just think about it. Look at like the Sudanese and all of them. Who would ever thought these guys would actually be the ancient Egyptians?
Right.
Right. Akon is like one of them too. He's like one of them Mizraimites too.
Right.
You know, who would have thought that people was once at the top of the earth? People don't understand. The Most High brings it. You know, we just fun child. Yeah, we'll pull that scripture right there. Black leaders are up under children. What do they do if you talk about the Holocaust? You say anything about the skeptical of the Holocaust or anything like that, they start crying. It's like a little baby. That video with General Mayak, remember that? You know?
Crying.
What was that Amalekite doing?
Crying.
Yeah.
Crying.
Crying his eyes out. Right. Now he's supposed to be the top people on the earth, and you can't even stand a little bit of, you know, criticism of somebody, you know, criticizing your plight. You know. People do it to us all the time.
Right.
We don't start crying and all of that. You know what I'm saying? When if any damn body should be crying, it should be us, because we out under the oppression that we say we just can't get out from up under.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense why our people will be emotional like that. But they're at the top of every damn thing. They can control the banks. That little bastard probably went on to be a top lawyer somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was just like a teenager or something in that in the video or whatever. I'll bet you he's something high up in the law offices right now with black people's lives in his hands.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Probably a damn on his way to being a judge or something maybe. So he can sit there and and just throw Negroes' lives away. You know what I'm saying? Just play games with your lives. They at the damn golf course, gambling over Negroes' lives. Where they gonna move the slaves to? How long are they gonna give such and such a slave? Or you give me these slaves and I'll give you these. They are making deals on niggas' lives. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whether they guilty or innocent or whatever the damn case is. So who the hell can say that we ain't still slaves?
That's right.
We're property. We're on the NASDAQ. You know what I'm saying? We up on, how you look at them stock and all of that in the big old rooms where all of these nationalities is running around like chickens with their heads cut off, and you got the big old screen and all of these different stocks and all of that. We own there. We just ain't listed as niggas, but we damn sure own there. What they do is they hide they hide it behind a cover name. It's like they'll have Planned Parenthood up there, but they won't have it as Planned Parenthood. They'll have a front name about it, but you want us first. Then give me a call. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll say such and such at 38 cents a share. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, hell, 38 cents? I can't believe all these niggas ain't getting up on this. You know what I'm saying? I hate all the language, you know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there thinking I done ran across something that other niggas don't know that about, But, the devils, of course, know about it. And we've been moved around on there. And our leaders certainly allow it to happen.
Right.
They certainly, because they have no love for us at all. But here's the funny thing, is we keep listening to them and we know it.
Right.
We know that they have no love for us at all. And we still listen. Now, when we, I'll say like, all right, 20 years ago, all right, you can see it. Because the truth hadn't really boomed like that yet, It was still, predominantly, in New York and stuff like that, And we didn't have like, well, that's when the internet was really first really kicking off for real. But still, it was a lack of knowledge at that time, though. So I can understand then. But in the though, in 2020, we still listening to these leaders, though. Man, this is crazy, man. This is what makes me think that the Lord is going to do something drastic. COVID didn't do good enough.
Right.
It's like the start of something, you know what I'm saying? The start. But then, the Most High is what it's seeming like he's going to pick up the pace. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get mad, he's going to pick it up. They already had the fires and all of that. And what was it, Indonesia? The earthquakes and all of that. Yeah, they already had that. But these next things that's going to come, it's going to break people down to their knees. It's going to be something that's really going to rattle things.
I got that scripture for you.
Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4. Chapter 10, Salaki. Chapter 10, verse 16. Woe to thee, O land, when thy king is a child. And
What
thy princes
land has
eat in the morning.
What land has the most childish kings in it? This one.
That's right.
I mean, and here's the thing about it. Nowadays, they don't even try to hide how foolish they are. You got Donald Trump when I talk about grabbing him by the box. What president ever said anything like that? You know what I'm saying? He said that, and everybody just kind of turned. You know what? But here's the funny thing about it: those same lesbian protesters changed their tune. This go to show you, right? This go to show you how much power the white man has over his women. You know what I'm saying? Because at first, remember, they were protesting that. They were talking about, he's a chauvinist and he this and he that. Next thing you know, seen flips around, they wearing shirts saying, grab me by the box. Think about that though. You know what I'm saying? That's the push on them Negro women and all of that. Me by the box. They get out there and all of that. They're not doing that on their own. The men tell them, go. And you know what? Those feminists are married. You know, they husbands a lot of time is part of some, you know, important political thing or whatever. And he's like, he tell them, you know, go stir them up, you know, go stir up the women, you know, this and that, and go out there, you know, protest or whatever, you know, to cause instability and stuff like that. Because you have to keep, if you, this many people ruling that many, you know, you have to keep them unstable. And that's one of the ways that they do it, you know. They keep them unstable by stuff like feminist movements and all of that stuff like that. You know, it's like they're like distractions and all of that too, you know. And getting everybody to side with one thing. That's why there's Democrats and Republicans, because they know that if they give you a one-party system, then you're going to be tempted to rebel against that system. But if they give you a two-party system, you know, it's just like watching Louisville and Kentucky play ball. You're going to side with which one you like. And you like Kentucky, you like U of L. You know what I'm saying? You're going to side with which one you like. You're more likely to do that. If you're just out there just watching Kentucky play, you're like, oh shit, we can form our own damn team, you know? You know what I'm saying? It'd be something like that. But, you know. Yeah, go ahead with the scripture again.
Sir. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 13. Better is a poor and wise child than an old and foolish king who will no more be admonished.
Like I said, once the white man come down, he'll no longer be admonished anymore. That's why King Solomon make the peace, because that's a lot of times that's what kings did. You know, kings, you know, they would make alliances and everything through marriages and stuff, you know, until after, you know, like the Babylonians invaded and all of that, and they started to go down, 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 down. So, you know, they became a non-factor during the time of the Roman Empire. You know, they were just something that people just went back to, you know, look at how to govern their kingdom and how to control black slaves and stuff like that. You know, because they used the same programming that the ancient Egyptians used. That's what that whole Willie Lynch letter thing was about. You know, because they wanted to find out how did the ancient Egyptians control the Hebrew people for so long, and nobody else has been able to do that. Nobody else controlled us for 400 years but them. So that's why they modeled everything in America off of ancient Egypt. And just like you had the coons and all of that, in ancient Egypt, you had the coons, you got the coons in this one.
That's right.
You know, you got the coons right here in this one, you know, that are sitting there telling us, you know, not to be angry about nothing. And of course they tell you not to be angry. They worried about their damn pockets, you know, eating steak every night, you know, and all the comforts and luxuries that they got. You know, they don't give a damn about nobody except for their own little immediate families and stuff like that. That's all they care about. Right. But we still look at them as the leaders, though. That's what's so crazy about it, just because they're rich. You know, and us being up under the white man so long, we think like a damn child too. You know what I'm saying? We think like a child too. That's why they call us boy. You know, we think just like children up under them. We think, a lot of us think we can't even survive without them.
Right.
You know, just like a child. A child, like, you know, he can't survive without his parents. You know, with his parents, you know, give him this, give him that, make sure he's fed and his clothes and all this and that, right? And then the leaders try to make you grateful for what your enemy gives you when nobody else thinks like that.
That's right.
You know, the white man gives to every nationality that comes here for free. That's how they're able to start their businesses and stuff like that. They're able to start their businesses based on the grants that they get. The only people that don't get no grants are black and Hispanics. Right. We don't get no grants. Back in the day, they used to say, yeah, no, see, what they do is they save up all their money over in their own country. They barely making enough money to eat in their own damn country. Right. They the bottom of barrel people. That's who they move over here.
I actually watched a report on natives starting up businesses on the reservation, and from like all of the guidelines and red tape that they have to cross. One of their spokespeople, they said it would be easier to start a nuclear power plant on the reservation.
They had the Gadites on gangland one time. You know, they had these messed up houses. I mean, these houses was horrible. I mean, they were the stuff that would be boarded up, you know, and they were living in these houses. And then think about it, they were like out west where it's like the desert and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, and they was, you know, out there gang banging and all of that. They was living in these places, they didn't have no electricity, you know, none of that. You know, I was like, man, I mean, they had it seriously rough. And then on the reservations too, also, you know, they can't even have them no strong. You know what I'm saying? They can't even get them no, you know, they already super oppressed and super crushed, you know what I'm saying? A nigga like that need a drink. Right. He's a give him a little something, you know what I'm saying? Right. But then they take that from you too. You know what I'm saying? That's some horrible stuff, you know. I mean, man. Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
Come, verse 14. For out of prison he cometh to reign.
Where did the white man come out of whence Rome fell? I mean, according to the scriptures, that scripture, because when Rome fell, and then you had Septimius Severus and all this stuff, you know, wars and stuff, the white man had to run back up. He was right in the country because he had to run back up there, you know, to repopulate and everything. That was his prison. You know what I'm saying? Their land of origin was their prison.
Right.
You know, they had to be up there. They couldn't come down out the mountains because everyone would hunt them. That's that mark of Cain. You know what I'm saying? When they fall, everybody realized who Cain is. You know what I'm saying? Remember what Cain's biggest fear was? Go ahead.
It's like that someone was going to kill him for the way he looked?
Not specifically for the way he looked, but for his crime, which was murder. Because any man slayeth a man, that man's blood is to be shed. Right. You know, him being, you know, red and the way he looked, that, you know, that is actually a sign of who he is. You know what I'm saying? The blood showing in his skin is the sunlights that are red too, you know. But he ain't got that, you know, he ain't got the same spirit, you know, as the ones that, you know, is white. You got some as dark as Israelites. Right. Like, you know, you got Russians and Greeks, you know, Spaniards, Portuguese, and all of them. They the dark devils. But they still devils, and they still got that mark. You know what I'm saying? They still got that mark. Okay, now let's go into the precursor of the Christian pastor. Oh yeah, I want to hit that one a good time. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 8 and verse 1.
1 Samuel chapter 8 verse 1. And it came to pass when Samuel was old.
Now Samuel was old at this time. At this time we had judges. Samuel was the last of the real judges. You know, the righteous judges. He was the last of them.
Sir. That he made his sons judges over Israel.
Now, he made his sons judges of Israel, but his sons were wicked dudes. You know what I'm saying? They were dudes that, you know, they was about that money. They was just about catching their cut. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 2. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second, Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba. Verse 3. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after
filthy
lucre, and took bribes, and perverted judgments.
Right. That stuff sounds familiar, don't it? What does that sound like? That sounds like, you know, the leaders of today. Sound just like them. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 4.
Well, Jesse Jackson and them, they'll take a bribe in a heartbeat. They whole career is based on bribe. It's based on the bribe. Their whole career is based on that. And the white man dude is exactly, I can't even say he knows how to play them because, hell, they're in total agreement with it. You know, they decide they're going to cause up a ruckus somewhere, and then what they say, okay, how much money you need, Jesse? Right. You know what I'm saying? Give me a... And he does it. Right. Go ahead.
Come. Samuel unto Ramah.
Yeah. it was good that the elders gathered themselves together. But here's the thing, though, what they gathered themselves together for. You know what I'm saying? They used the occasion of his sons and all of that, you know, and how, you know, wicked they were. And yes, they were supposed to come to Samuel about that. But they had another intent deep inside their heart. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 5. And said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us, like all the nations.
They trying to game Samuel. You know what I'm saying? Use the fact that his sons ain't walking in his ways, trying to game him up in order to get a king. You know, we had the Most High as our king. That's why the men were judges. You know, just like kings, he'll have judges up under him to solve matters, and up under that one is judges and all of that to solve smaller matters, going all, you know, all the way down and all the way back up to the top. Right? Okay, go ahead.
Come on, sir. Verse 6. But the things displeased Samuel.
Why did it displease Samuel?
Because they was basically saying his sons was corrupt. They didn't like the fact that.
No, you know, because see, Samuel knew that his sons was corrupt, and he knew that they were right to come to him about that. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't mad about that. What he was mad about is the fact that they wanted a king when the Most High was ruling over us. I mean, think about it. The Most High was so strong with us and everything. We went to war. Samuel offered up like, what, one little sheep or something? And everybody seen the fire come down. Boom! And just devour that sheep, meaning the Lord was happy with that sacrifice. And we tore them damn Philistines, them Africans to bits. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, they said the Most High caused a thunderbolt that was so damn loud that the Philistines took off running. And we went after them and beat them straight down. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing.
So like, you talking about Judges?
Samuel, the book of Samuel.
Yeah.
Right, because this is before, right. This is when Samuel was a little younger, you know. But at this time that we got, he's old now, and he ain't got much longer left, you know.
Oh, you know, it's like, I think I was thinking about Samson and Judges.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's an interesting story too, though.
Yeah,
I'm gonna break down
15 and 17, the chapters.
Yeah, the Samson, you know, I don't only touched on it a few times, but I'm gonna go all the way through it one of these days or soon. All right, go ahead.
Come on, sir. Give us a king to judge us.
Now, see what they asking for? Now, this is why, like I was saying, this is why it displeased Samuel. Because we wanted to be just like everybody else. We didn't even have a solid reason, a good argument for even wanting a king. Other than the fact that we just wanted to be just like everybody else. Well, we're supposed to be at the top of everybody else.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We are the Most High as our king, who made all the other kings. But instead, we want a man that we think that we can manipulate and all of that. You know? We had the judges. What else more you need? You don't need nothing else. Well, now trouble starts. Go ahead.
Come on, sir. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord. Verse 7. And the Lord said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people, and all that they say unto thee.
Right, the Most High is like, all right, no sweat. They want a king, no problem. He said, I'm going to step back. Go ahead.
Come. For they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them.
Right, see, that's a problem. Go ahead.
Come, sir. Verse 8. According to all the works which thou hast done since the day that I brought them up out of Egypt, even unto this day, wherewith they have forsaken me and served other gods.
Well, look all through Judges. Man, we was always, you know, the land would have peace for 40 years. Then we go right back into the same stuff again. Under another, you know, we'll worship the gods of the Midianites. Whatever gods that we worshiped of that nation took straight over us.
Right.
You know, and it's funny because our people still don't get that concept to this day. Whatever, you know, whatever you yield yourself, your members to, you become, you know, that servant. I'm paraphrasing, but it's the same damn thing when it comes to nations too. It's the same thing. you yield to the Chinese, you want to become a Buddhist and all of that, right? Well, you start serving Chinese gods, you're going to be Chinese slaves. You know? Hell, look at Jamaica. We were just talking about that whole Benjamite thing, down in Jamaica and all that, with the East Indians down there. The East Indians, what did they do? They got into Rastafarianism, start growing long duty locks and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Start doing all of that, and next thing you know, the East Indians are slave masters. After all of that fighting against Esau and playing soccer with his head and all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? They led some cold rebellions down there in the Caribbean, and in Mexico and all of that too. What people don't know, we was kicking behind during the time of them slave revolts. And you know what? All of the tribes were together. We were communicating with each other. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Casper gang in Mexico, Toussaint Louverture in Haiti, and all of that. We were communicating with each other. And we were kicking ass. But then what happens, the Benjamites start becoming Rastafarians. Now, what do? You make that people a god over you because they become like sacred to you. You worship the god of the Arabs. You become the bastardized version of a Muslim. Because Negroes ain't no real Muslims. Right. You know what I'm saying? Hell, Muslim Negroes celebrate Christmas. You know what I'm saying? And he's pressured into celebrating Christmas because he can't control his damn woman. That's not Arab. You know what I'm saying? The Arabs got their women in check. He got 10, a harem of 10. They still, in Islam, hell, Negro Islam, they still talking one wife. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Christian. Still the same thing. Still talking one wife, just like the Christian. And they run around in a damn bow tie and all of that. Where they do that? That's what I said. We become a bastardized version of every religion, and they ruling over us in their religion too. They paying the Muslim leaders to keep us in Islam. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that we don't wake up to who we are and start following our own laws that's in this Bible. Because if we do that, then the whole dynamic is gonna start to change.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be afraid then. So they're paying the Negro leaders and all of that to calm their fears.
Right.
Go ahead.
Come on, sir. Verse 9. Now therefore hearken unto their voices. Howbeit.
He told them listen to them. Go ahead.
Come on. Howbeit, yet protest.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to ask them to make sure that everybody knows. Okay. The manner of the king. Okay, go ahead.
Is that like the type of king that he would be?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like how he would rule and
yes.
It's kind of like reading how would you say it? Like the character of a person.
Right. Yes. Go ahead.
Come on, sir. Verse 10. And Samuel told all the words of the Lord unto the people.
Now, the Lord threw the first king out there for us in his anger. That's how King Saul. Now think about it. King Saul started out good, right? He started out as a good king, and the Lord was with him, right?
Right.
But then things changed. You see what I'm saying? And the Lord threw King Saul, pretty much threw him to us. The Lord was pretty pissed off. Go ahead.
Come on, concert. They asked of him a king. Verse 11. And he said, this will be the manner of the king that shall reign over you. He will take your sons and appoint them for himself.
Yeah. He will take the sons and appoint them for himself. What do they do in the Christian church? They make him a little usher. You know what I'm saying? They make him this little one over here, the doorman. They find out what little skills that they might have, you know what I'm saying, what they can do, and they can sing. You appoint him as a singer, you know what I'm saying, or a dude to get on the drums or whatever the case is, They'll appoint them for themselves. A dude, he can clean the toilets, things like that. Go ahead.
Come on, sir. And he will take your sons and appoint them for himself, for his chariots.
Right. You get a knock on the door one day, like, We need your son. Like the Gestapo. You know what I'm saying? Come through that. We need your son. You know. He's needed for his father's work, but now he's taking it. Now he's going to be a chariot rider. Now, come on. Now the family's feeling pretty crappy, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Come on, concept. And to be his horsemen, and some shall run before his chariots. Verse 12. And he will appoint him captains over thousands, and captains over 50s. And he will set them their daughters to be confectionaries, and to be cooks.
Right, confectionaries is a baker. You know, what do they do inside that Christian church? They will take the sisters, you know, and she'll make sure that that dinner for that church is right. And if her husband even go and try and pick a little piece of something, get off that. You know what I'm saying? Just smack the hell out of his hand. You know, get mad as hell. This is for the pastor.
Good.
I remember hearing a story, you know, with my great-grandmother, you know, that the pastor, what they would do a lot of times, the pastor would come to your house for Sunday dinner, him and his family. That was old Negro custom, old Negro tradition, right? So what would the grandmother do? She would fry up a whole bunch of chicken, right? And the family would come over, him, his family, and whoever else he wanted to bring over, and they would eat every bit of it. To where the little kids, you know what I'm saying, is in the house, didn't get none. And the Christian pastor is so greedy and so lustful that he ain't even considering, hey y'all, have they ate anything? He's not even that considerate. He's sitting back, you know what I'm saying, sucking his teeth, you know what I'm saying? He's sitting back and him and his family just getting it in.
That's right.
And they're not even caring about my mother said that they used to have to sneak and everything just like little slaves and heard them try to take a little piece of chicken or something. That's pitiful. They'll take one little piece of chicken and all of them try to split it. You see how the Christian, it says right here that it will take the daughters for confectionery and for cooks. And she'll make sure that church, you know what I'm saying, that the pastor got to think about Christian counsel too. Because when Christian counsel goes wrong, as of course it 100% of the time it does, when it goes wrong and the woman has to, you know, suffer behind following that counsel, just like when demons come on people, when demons entice somebody to do something and they go and do it, and then the repercussion time is coming and the demons flee away, that's what the Christian pastors and all the Christians do too. They do the same thing. They move just like the demons do. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you, like, say for instance, they told the girl, you know, they tell this girl, you ain't got to put up with that. Girl, you ain't got to be with him. Girl, there's plenty of men out here, plenty of good Christian men out here. And she done messed around and slept, you know, she done divorced her husband who don't want to go to that church. You know what I'm saying? It was a good provider for her and all of that stuff, but he don't want to deal with that church. Now, she done left him and done got the homosexual, you know, keyboard dude, you know what I'm saying, that had sex with him, but she didn't know he had AIDS. She went to, you know what I'm saying, wondering why she, you know what I'm saying, is feeling all sick and all of that, you know what I'm saying, and she goes to the hospital and everything, and they told her, you've been died, you got the AIDS virus. And he got it too. And then they go back, you know, to the Christian church, and they find out she got AIDS. Now the same person that told her to kick it with him is on the other side of the church now. Ain't even dealing with her at all. She's supposed to face the music by herself. You know what I'm saying? Birds. From that person to the person that they're laying hands on. It's a serious matter. That's the reason why before Moses died, what did Moses do? When he appointed Joshua, what did he do? And he took Joshua and he laid his hands upon Joshua, so the same spirit that Moses had would be transferred on to Joshua. You know what I'm saying? And when Joshua passed, he did the same thing with Caleb. You know what I'm saying? That's the spirit that came from him. So now imagine if a homosexual in the Christian church lays hands on you? You see what I'm saying? Or some dude that's, you know what I'm saying, he's a pedophile, he likes to rape little boys, you know, and he's laying hands on people. It's a serious matter right there, you know. Just like you know, the story of the scapegoat, where everybody laid their hands up on the goat. Remember that? We talked about the scapegoat in the law. Now, and that goat had to be driven off into the wilderness by only one dude could drive it out there. You know what I'm saying? So just in case something happened or whatever, you know, it would just affect that one dude. He can go get cleansed or whatever the case is, and it's not going to affect the whole body. Right. You know what I'm saying? So he drives the goat, the scapegoat out there. Everybody laid their hands upon this goat, but he had to be driven far away from the people. You see what I'm saying? Now think about this for a second. When you go into Daniel, when it's breaking down like the animals and all of that for kingdoms, who was the goat in that? The white man. He was the goat. Remember the rough goat that had the one notable horn and went around and broke the lamb that had the two, because that was Medo-Persia. He had one bigger horn and one smaller horn. And he broke both of those, and then he turned and started conquering in all directions and all of that. The white man is the goat that has everybody, every empire's sins upon him, and he's supposed to be driven away.
So,
good?
Try to say how Precursor.
Oh, okay.
Because any minute they'll try to take down the stream.
Oh, okay. All right.
Trust me, it happens to me. All of us.
You want me to keep going all the way?
It comes. Okay.
Come on, concert. And to be cooks and to be bakers. Verse 14. And he will take your field and your vineyards.
What did it say he would do?
He will take your fields and your vineyards.
He said he will take them. All right. What is one of the Catholic Church traditions that they do when somebody has great wealth? They have them to lands and stuff like that. Don't they have them to transfer once they become a Catholic? All of that stuff is now owned by the Catholic Church that they have. You know, if they have lands and all of that, and that stuff was to be transferred. That's one of the reasons why the Catholic Church is so wealthy and so powerful. So think about who follows after them. The Christian Church is, you know, because Catholicism is one big umbrella.
That's right.
You know, and the stuff that's up under it is, you know, Mormons and, you know, all the Baptists, Pentecostals, all of those is up under that same Catholic umbrella. A nice old, you know, package or whatever before he, you know, passed away. Christian church. Here comes the Christian pastor. Want her to turn.
Come on, concert. Verse 14.
So like, which scripture are you at?
1 Samuel, chapter 10, chapter 8. Salakia. 1 Samuel. I'm at 8 and 14.
Okay.
And he will take your fields and your vineyards and your olive yards.
He said he would take all of these things. That means he's going to pretty much strip the people poor.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why people love King David so much. You know, they love King Saul too, but just because he was king. But when King David had power, when he got into power, everything was restored. You know, everything was restored, and not only restored, but there was a lot of increase came behind the wars, because you fight the war, you slaughter the enemy, you take all the spoils. You know, sometimes it took days just to get all the spoils. And the stuff that you got went to your house. You got all of these jewels and all of this stuff. You're going to become pretty wealthy. You know? Go ahead.
Come on, concert. Even the best of them, and give them to his servants.
Said he will take them from you and give to his servants. And just imagine the bitterness behind that. You own a nice vineyard, you know. Say you ain't a super rich man or nothing. You just, you know, normal dude, because hell, even, you know, the poor of us had vineyards and stuff like that.
Right.
And then he comes and just takes your vineyard away from you and gives it to his servants. And now your family and what your son should be getting is now gone. You know, that's a tough pill to swallow right there.
John Concert, verse 15. And he will take your fields and your vineyards. Hold on, Salakia. And he will take the tenth of your seed and of your vineyards and give to his officers and to his servants.
All right, means he gonna take the tenth of everything you got and give to his people that he done brought close to him. Yeah, it's kind of like it's not like a tithe, because actually the king wasn't supposed to receive the tithes. It was supposed to be the priesthood and everything, right? But now you have the Benjamite king that's taking 10%. Actually, what he's doing the same, pretty much the same thing as the mob was doing in their neighborhoods and all of that. You had to pay for protection.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So if they think about it, if somebody decides, no, I'm not paying this 10%, what they gonna do? They're gonna send somebody to your door, on some mob type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So he's taking 10% of everything they got, and taking your sons and appointing them to his chariots, taking your vineyards, your lands, and all of that. And then think about it. If he's taking your lands, that means he's owning them, and you're working on his land, and you're trying to produce stuff for yourself, and he's taking 10% of that also on top of the land that he took from you. That's rough. Now, ain't this the precursor to the black leaders right now? This is that. This is the start of it. This is the start of that Christian pastor's mindset.
Come on, Concert, verse 16. And he will take your men servants and your maid servants and your young goodliest.
Now think about it. Say he'll take your men servants and your maid servants, because you got a lot of us that had servants. But he'll take them. He'll take the servants that you had, that you inherited, that that you raised up in your house and stuff like that. He'll take them. Just take them from you. And that's just that. Go ahead. So love. I don't
for asses and put them to his work.
He gonna take your donkeys. The donkeys that you used to plow the field with. He gonna take them for himself. Now you ain't got nothing to plow the field with. You got a couple of who are knock-kneed donkeys somewhere. He might let you have that. You know what I'm saying? He might let you go ahead and plow with them, but they ain't gonna be able to plow too much, not like your strong ones will. But he take the best that you got and point it for his own self and for the land that he took from you. Right. That's rough right there. Good night. Go ahead.
Come on, verse 17. And he will take the tenth of your sheep, and ye shall be his servants.
Now, think about it. You gotta pay, the 10% to the nation, to the Levites, which is right for us to do, right? But then he put his own 10% tax on that. You ever heard people talk about the double tithe? Anybody ever heard people talk about that? Yeah. This is like a precursor to that type of mindset. I heard when they was charging people, the Christian church was charging people double tithes, 20% instead of 10. And they ain't even the ones supposed to receive no tithes. They got everybody people running around thinking they the priests. Go ahead.
Come on, concert. Verse 18. And ye shall cry out in that day, because of your king which ye have chosen you.
How could they not? And the Most High told them what type of king he was going to be. And what did we say? We said, oh, we still want a king. All right. You're going to get your king. The Most High gave us a king. And he's doing all of this stuff. And to the point to where the whole nation is crying out against the king. Go ahead.
Come on, concert. And the Lord will not hear you in that day. 19. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel. And they said, nay, but we will have a king over us.
Hard-headed to be. Go ahead.
Come on, verse 20. that we also may be like all the nations, and that our king may judge over us.
We'll be like the nations, all right, doing every evil damn thing that they doing. Go ahead.
And go out before us and fight our battles. Verse 21. And Samuel heard all the words of the people, and he harassed them the ears of the Lord. He rehearsed them, and he rehearsed them in the ears of the Lord. Verse 22. And the Lord said to Samuel, hearken unto their voice, and make them a king. And Samuel said unto the men of Israel, go ye every man unto his city.
Right, and when the Most High picked, King Saul, actually that was, he picked what would appeal to their carnal senses, because King Saul was this dude, he was a head tall above all the people, he looked like, somebody that people would want to make king, So they, going, how we be. I mean, look how we view celebrities and all of that. We still got that same type of mindset, the same type of damn mindset. All right, then let's go to 1 Samuel 22 and 9. Right.
1 Samuel chapter 22, verse 9. Then answered Doeg. Then answered Doeg the Edomite, which was set over the servants of Saul, and said, I saw the son of Jesse coming to
now, what is an Edomite doing inside the kingdom? What is an Edomite doing inside the kingdom? Not only is he inside the kingdom, but this king made him the chief of all of his herdsmen. Gave him a very high position, where he was damn near in the king's ear, damn near like the king's counselor. And what do the Christian pastors and black leaders do? They open up the doorway for the devil to come right on in.
That's right.
And then they will promote the devil. We can't even have what's so funny about it. We can be a small business somewhere, have a small black business, and some young oppressor can come in and and apply for a slavery there or whatever, apply for a job. The same person that owns that restaurant or whatever it is will hire him, and he will move up quick. He'll move up because we so quick to try and we the ones that had all the racism done against us, but we are so quick to try to prove to the world that we not racist. Golly. Man. And the black, the black pastors and all of them, they deal with a lot of them white pastors. And who was the leader in that situation? The white pastor. He's the leader in that situation. He can have a church of 10, and the black pastor can have a church of 500. He will still look at that white pastor as being over him. That's the reason why Doeg the Edomite is inside the kingdom here. He brought him from the ash of the Caucasus Mountains and made him the chiefest of all of his herdsmen. All right, go ahead.
Come on, sir. And aside, I saw the son of Jesse coming to Nob.
Yeah, what is he doing? He's snitching on King David. Don't they do this on slavery? Don't they do this on jobs? Don't they do the same thing on jobs? They do. I done worked at places that had a black male general manager. And it would be the devil that worked there going behind his back and telling on everything that he do. And he'll couple up with some sisters too. It'll be him and it'll be them. And they'll start going, trying to go above his head to get to the general manager that's over him and try to talk bad about him and stuff like that. More and more of their people inside. That's how Haman's 10 sons and friends and Rib was inside the Persian Empire like that. When they were from Macedonia. That's what they do. They start moving them in, little by little, little by little. They'll do the same thing in the kingdom. They'll do the same thing in the kingdom. We couldn't even trust them to be servants like that.
You said Haman?
Haman from the Apocrypha?
Yeah, you're talking about in the story of Esther?
Esther, right,
oh,
right.
Okay, I was gonna make sure.
Right, right, yeah. Remember when you go into the Apocrypha, it said Haman the Macedonian.
Yeah.
And he was in close relation to Alexander the Greek, King Philip, and he was of that same royal seed line.
That's right.
Because the next empire to start to rule would be the empire of the Greeks. That's why Haman was in there to help to translate the kingdom from the Medes and the Persians to the Greeks. And what did the Persian king do? Put him up in a high position. As a matter of fact, he made him second to the king himself. You know.
Haman was a devil, right?
Right.
Right. Okay.
An Amalekite, right.
I kept hearing confusion about whether he was an African or a devil.
No, he was a devil. Matter of fact, he was an Agagite.
Oh yeah,
you know,
that's right.
Remember Agag, the king, the Amalekite king? He was one of his descendants. That's why his hatred. You know, remember what King David did to him. You know, remember King Saul hacked him in pieces. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons. Right, that's why he had such a burning hatred towards us. Go ahead.
Concert. To Amalek, to the son of
Ahimelech.
Ahimelech, to the son of
I.S.U.P.K.
Right. Verse 10. And he inquired of the Lord for him, and gave him victuals, and gave him the sword of Goliath, the Philistine.
Now this is Doeg the Edomite telling all of this. He's trying to have King David put to death. That's what he's actually trying to do.
Verse 11. Then the king sent to call, how you say Ahimelech, the priest? How you say that name again?
Ahimelech. Right.
Then the king sent to call Ahimelech the priest, the son of Atab, and all his father's houses, the priests that were in Nob, and they came all of them to the king. Verse 12. And Saul said, Hear now thy son of Atab. And he answered, Here am I, my lord.
He breaks them down. All right. They told about the matter. They was helping King for offense against him. And look at how wicked he done got. So now you see the demons that's up on the black Christian leaders. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 13, and Saul said unto him, Why have you conspired against me?
He called it a conspiracy.
Go and the son of Jesse, and that thou hast given him bread and a sword, and hast inquired of God for him, that he should rise against me.
Ain't that lawful? To give your brother bread if he's hungry? Now you see, King Saul should have shut up behind that. Your brother's hungry, you're supposed to give him some bread. But he's wondering, he's so far away from the law and brotherhood, he's asking them, why did they give King David bread? You know what? You know what that sounds like? That sounds like the black people that hate the fact that people got a stimulus check. You know what I'm saying? They hate the fact that their own people got a stimulus check. I done seen, there was YouTube videos and everything, and people talk about, no, I don't need no stimulus check, just go out and work and all of this. Well, you gotta tell every other race that gets handouts, as they call it, you gotta go and you gotta check them also. You won't do that. They could get a measly $1,200 and they get mad. $160-something boost there, they mad because you got that. While they give these heathens $2,000 and stuff like that. That's how they ate in them Arab stores. That's how they able to get the food inside there. And they keep getting that, that money every month. Whether like $2,500 or something like that. The Jewish families get that also. Jewish family per person, they get that also. That's how these people is able to stock up their stuff. But then you go into the Arab stores and they got a $3 can of raviolis there, and that thing got dust on it. It's been there 3 years. You know what I'm saying? They're not even changing out the stuff like that. Stale chips, you know what I'm saying? Everything's stale in there. You know? Think about that. So imagine what they're doing with it. They're just racking those stamps up. They're just racking them up and racking them up and racking them up. So he can apply for his own after the stamps. But they mad that a black or Hispanic will get single male will get $160-something a month in stamp, which is barely enough. You be a noodle eating dude. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. You're gonna be a noodle eating dude. You know, you can't really feed yourself on $160-something a month. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to eat like, you know, you're gonna have to really get down into some jail type of eating. You know, blow ups and you know what I'm saying? All of that kind of stuff just to try and make that stuff stretch. You know, you in the store thinking about getting a $1 Pepsi, but then you're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You gotta even rethink that. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Come on, sir. And that he should rise against me to lie in wait as at this day. Verse 14. Then Ahimelech answered the king and said, and who is so faithful among all the servants as David, which is the king's son-in-law, and goeth at thy binding, and is honorable in thy house?
And here's the thing about that. Now notice King Saul, you know, being this black leader, right? And knowing that King David is loyal to him. And generally a better dude. I mean, reality. Now, he will say all of this blessing stuff, and then will try to kill King David in the next breath. Now, this is what black leadership will do also, because, you know, there's some black leaders that will actually agree with what we say, but then turn right around and try to assassinate our character at the same time. Fake Israelite groups do that same thing. They'll be all in your face, you know, all, you know, shalom, brother.
Come on, verse 15. Did I then begin to inquire God for him? But it fare from me. Let not the king impute anything unto his servants, nor to all the houses of my father.
Okay, let's skip down to the part. I think it's Samuel 22 and 22 when he put to death the priests.
Come on, sir. 1 Samuel chapter 22, verse 22. And David said unto Abiathar, I knew it that day when Doeg, the Edomite was there, that he would surely tell Saul.
Right, King David already knew straight out, this is the devil right here. This is the devil. And he was always suspicious about him, of course. Go ahead.
I have occasioned the death of all the persons of thy father's house. 23.
This is the stuff he's doing in his own self-will. And you know what? In his mind, he convinces himself that the Lord is still with him. Just like the Christian pastors do. Right. They do the same thing. Christian pastors, black leaders, that's how far self-deception can go. Right. He think he's doing, you know, the work of the Most High. By killing the priests. There's a scripture for that, when they said they will kill you and think that they're doing the Most High some type of service. You know, this is a shining example of that right here. Go ahead.
Come on, concert. Verse 23. Abide thou with me, fear not, for he that seeketh my life seeketh thy life. But with me thou shalt be in safeguard. That's the end of that. Verse 19. Edge.
Killed the priest.
So was that 18?
Yeah, I think it's 18.
Verse 18. And the king said to Doeg, turn thy and fall upon the priest.
Now, first he tried to get Israelites to do it, and they were afraid. They knew, these are the Most High's priests, and they didn't do it. So he told Doeg, and Doeg jumped to the occasion. Go ahead.
Come. And Doeg the Edomite turned, and he fell unto the priest.
Yeah, he fell upon the priest. He killed 85 priests. Put 85 priests to death under the order of King Saul. And of course, he was happy to do it because what was he there to do? He was there to to get the power to his own people is what he's really there to do. And here's the thing about it. I don't care how much friends that somebody think they are with some devil or whatever, or any heathen, they always going to be about the growth of their people.
That's right.
And to be able to use us for food.
That's right.
That's how they get on top.
That's right.
Them eating and devouring us, they always want to put us in that situation. That's always the end all, of any relationship with any oppressor. The two can't dwell together.
That's right.
Go ahead.
And slew on that day fourscore and 5 persons that did wear a linen ephod. Verse 19. And now the city of the priest smote he with the edge of the sword, both men and women.
Whoa, look at this. And he went into the city of the priests. Who would do that? He went into the city of the priests up under King Saul's orders.
Right.
Go ahead.
Both men and women, children and sucklings, oxen and asses, and the sheep with the edge of the sword.
Wow.
Salakis. That's reading that, it reminds me of like when the Lord, I think that was the time he told Saul to go kill all the Amalek and kill all the sheep and young and everything, and he didn't do it. Is that because that's what he did when he went into the city of the priest and he killed everything, even
No, King Saul.
Of
Himelech, the son of a tub named Abiathar, escaped and fled after David. And Abiathar showed David that Saul had slain the Lord's priest. And David said unto Abiathar, I knew in that day, when Doeg the Edomite was there, that he would surely tell Saul.
Right. Now imagine if we had Edomites directly in the kingdom. They would be right back up to no good. You know what I'm saying? Because the Most High is not going to just do a magic trick and then just change them, to where all of their wickedness is gone. That's why it talks about them being utterly destroyed. They can't change. When we talk about Esau should be for stubble, they can't change. They can't. So with the Christians and everything, to think that we all going to share the kingdom together, ain't no damn way that they would want. I mean, think about it. They don't even like us having 1% of the wealth out of 100%. So we think that they're going to want to be equal in the kingdom of God or anywhere near it. Right. No, that is the death of them. Just the very thought of that is imagine there's black children that's equal with their children. They can't live with that. They can't. They cannot live with that. If they know that this is how it's going to be, they would rather die.
No, so like I remember, I seen a post with this, even like had a shirt on, and it said, "I'd rather reign in hell than be a servant in heaven."
Right.
So that's exactly how they feel. Like,
right. That is the death. That's one of the most vicious weapons against them is the fact that they would have to serve. They can't stomach that, and black Christians can't stomach it either. They like, no, master, we've been the slaves all this time. We want it like this, master. And they are going up and kissing their behinds and all that because these scriptures is coming out. And people starting to know sleep and they're Palestinians. They were saying that was Amalek to get it off of being a Jewish man. They pulling the same Christian tricks, magic tricks and all of that they've been doing all along. And the master is, so is the servant. Slick and sneaky, just like him. Okay. Let's see. All right, what we're gonna do now? Let's go into Leviticus chapter 25, verse 24.
Leviticus chapter 25, verse 24. And in all the land of your possession ye shall grant a remnant, redemption for the land.
Yeah, redemption for the land. Yeah, that's it. You talk about some real estate laws. This is Israelite real estate laws right here.
Right.
All right. 25 and 24. See, the Christian pastors, they done destroyed this law in our minds. I mean, they done, the word, we don't even operate in this in no level at all. Because what do? They'll sit there and buy up houses. And then when the gentrification and all of that comes, they'll jack the price of the houses up. And then they'll sell them all. So now we've been pushed out, and have to be on Section 8 and all of that stuff, and have to move into places that we don't even really want to even live at. And we the only people that's done like that. Now remember the curse that said the soles of our feet shall not find any rest? That's why you don't see no second generation houses. Think about it. I mean, your grandmother's house, you're supposed to have it. Your family members that own houses, but, right? Well, up everything and then sell it to the devil, to the oppressor, and totally boot us out of everything. And there is the thing about it, they even boot their own children out of stuff because the children are supposed to inherit that stuff, right?
Right.
That's the way that they Christian masters operate. They Christian masters go, and buy a house. He get his son into real estate. His son flipped the houses into 2 and 4. Things like that. It'll be such and sons realtors, real estate or whatever. The Christian pastor will even knock off his own children's inheritance. He's that greedy and that, that lustful that he will even disinherit his own kids. Imagine how evil and stupid you guys. I can't say they're ignorant because they know a lot about real estate, which puts them in a way worse situation. They just bottom line just flat out selfish and evil. It just is what it is. The pastor owns 10 houses on one block. He sell all 10, to the oppressor. Yeah, he got a bunch of money, right? But then that money is just going to keep going out. Keep going out. And what he'll do, he'll probably buy some other houses in another neighborhood and keep doing it. Mm-hmm. And there'll be a bunch of them doing that. Next thing you know, you don't have anything. You're being pushed off the earth. Right. Black people are being pushed totally off the earth.
Right.
Fulfilling that the curse when it talks about the soles of our feet shall not have rest. Mm-hmm. Wherever we go. I mean, what brother that live in a house, you don't even see brothers and stuff that live in a house 10, 15 years no more. Niggas is moving every 2 or 3 years. You gotta get up and get something, go somewhere else. And it knocks you off also a sense of community. It knocks you off of that. Think about it, the community. I mean, hell, y'all grew up together. Your kids knew one another, such and such. All of y'all lived in the same little area and stuff like that. That puts you closer towards a community. If you're always getting up and moving and always got to keep moving around, there's a sense of instability there. Always got to keep moving. Always got to spend 1 minute here, 1 minute there. You know, it was almost living like a fugitive. That's what it's like. It's like living like a fugitive. You know, you ain't committed a crime, but you're a fugitive. All right, good.
Verse 25. If thy brother be waxing poor, and have sold away some of his possessions.
Now, if the brother is waxing poor, what it means to wax something, it means to grow. He done grew poor. He done went from a certain status or whatever and went down and down and down. Hell, he might have had a gambling problem or something, you know, whatever the case is, you know, and just fell on some hard, you know, times or whatever the case is. Go ahead.
Come on, sir. And if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which his brother sold. Now,
his brother sold the stuff. What his other brother is supposed to do is go and buy the stuff and hold on to it. Now, imagine if our minds was even like that, on a type of practice like that, right? You know what that would probably, you know, that would probably stop, like, say, for instance, when a man gets married. A brother told me, actually, it was my mom's husband, talking about his first marriage. You know, he had married a devil, and said that when he was about to get a divorce, right? But so she couldn't. He had a lawyer, and his lawyer was real cool with him. He said he took all his possessions, because he had a lot of possessions, and a house and all of that. He said he sold his possessions to his lawyer for $10. He sold everything he had to his lawyer for $10, right? Now check this out. So now the fact that the lawyer owns it, he get a divorce from her, she can't get anything, right? Right. Now, after divorce was over, he goes with the same $10, and the lawyer sells him everything back. You know what I'm saying? Now, see, this worked back then. I don't know if something like that will work nowadays. I mean, this is back, you know, this happened like back in the, you know, in the 70s. Right. You know, this happened somewhere in that era, back in the 70s. But, hey, just think, you know, if that could work, you know, women would want to make that marriage, probably make it work, right? Because, hell, they make up over 85% of the divorces is by the woman. It used to be 70. Now it's done jump from 70 and all that stuff. You know, now just imagine if we worked in brotherhood, you know, and to where we had brothers that we can trust, you know what I'm saying? You know, people that we can trust in our brother, you know what I'm saying? And our brother will hold on to that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Put it up in different places and this and that. And once the divorce thing is over, he's selling it right back to him for that small price again. You know what I'm saying? And you get all of his stuff back. Imagine that. That the divorce rate would start to drop, wouldn't it? You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, this is how the Christian church has destroyed our, you know, ways of wise dealings and all of that stuff. You know, wise dealing in possessions and real estate, ownership and stuff is all in here. How we're supposed to operate. Yeah, of course, I know we ain't in the land and all of that. Yeah, I know that. But that's why the scriptures talk about keeping the law. It talks about keeping. There's actually a difference between keeping and doing. Keeping it means you're meditating upon it. You're meditating upon it to the point to where it's so much in your mind and your heart, it starts to produce an action. You see, it starts to produce an action. And that will be the doing. Right. You see? Right. Now, imagine we even though we can't do this law right here, right now, because we don't own anything. But if we meditate upon this stuff right here, who knows? Most High might bless us with some things, and just to test us to see what we would do, and we operate like this. I think he'll be pretty pleased. Right. All right. So, let's keep going. See, this is brotherhood. This is how brotherhood operates. Because, you know, as the scriptures say, you always have the poor among you. There'll always be somebody that done fell into some type of decay or whatever. You know, it's gonna always have people that's gonna be like that. You know.
And then shall he redeem that which his brother sold. Verse 26. And if the man have none to redeem it, and himself be able to redeem it. Verse 27. Then let him count the years, the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return unto his possessions.
And see this? You know, now think about it, you know, up under this system, you lose something, you just lose it. And that's that. We lose things a lot of times that we never get back. Just like, you know, look at the black businesses. We lose things and we, in our mind, we will be a form of brotherhood about them. You know, they're not going to let another race come in. It's like you can't be, you know, an Arab and go and sell rice to the Chinese. Right. You know, that's not going to work. Right. You know, they will be angry, and it can drive them to the point of war. Right. You know, it can drive them straight to the point of war. But we are people, our leaders done left us open wide for everybody to do whatever the hell they want to do. That's right. That being said, we are the I.S.U.P.K. coming out of 1 West on the 25th Street, Harlem, New York, and the Commander Gen.YAHANNA. Pay your tithes, support this truth, support the soldiers that's out here fighting for you.
That's right, clap it up. That's right. Class, we'll start your other. Chill ass up here.
Calm, sir. I.S.U.P.K. security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. starting out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has any interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment. Numbers 18, verse 21, Malachi 3, 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, Mayashua. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations, September 17th, Memorial blowing the trumpet. That's right. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and scarves. With that, we're going to face the Lord's Prayer. Call. Yawon. Wasalaki out. Kabawaki and out. Kasalaki and out. Kabawaki and out. Wala Arin out. Wasayawan. Abal. Washine out. Mayan. Ra. Kaya. Laka. Malakwa. Wala. Hatapara. Wa'awalam. Aman.
The Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father.
Our Father.
Which art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh.
Thy
kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done.
In earth.
As
it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day.
Our daily bread.
Our daily bread.
Forgive us of our debts.
Forgive us of our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
Deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
The power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
So be it. So be it. Amen.
Oh, at this time, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, we're going to send out prayers for family members. If you type in any names, we'll say the names for you and send a prayer. So at this time, you can either type it in on Facebook or YouTube.
You can share Facebook. I use it, right?
Go ahead.
Bless Israel in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Ba'ashem. Yahweh Shah. Barak Lanawa. Yashala. Bahabayah. Sapari. Barak. Rapah. Magun. Hagun. Say the name of the loved ones once, and everyone repeats the name once.
The house of Kanagabar.
The house of Kanagabar.
The house of Bakar Dam.
The house of Bakar Dam.
Dawala.
Dawala.
Sagariyah.
Sagariyah.
Kabat Tabak.
Kabat Tabak.
Kabat Dabar.
Kabat Dabar.
Yakudash.
Bariah.
Benayala. The house of Kodash Ayan.
The house of Kodash Ayan.
The house of the Bar Mah.
The house of the Bar Mah.
The house of Torah.
The house of Sathar
The house of Sathar
I.S.U.P.K Minneapolis.
I.S.U.P.K Minneapolis.
All of Israel.
All of Israel.
Yawash. Ramak Yawadah. Nicole Clement. Shay Wagner.
All of Israel.
All of Israel.
I.S.U.P.K Minneapolis.
I.S.U.P.K Minneapolis. Ba'ashem Yahushua. The water of month.
What we just said was, Lord, in the name of Yahushua.
So like none on Facebook?
Nope. What we just said was, Lord, in the name of Yahushua.
Lord, you always.
So be it.
So in all things living.
Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Destruction.
Punishment,
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
That speak against us.
That speak against us.
Thy prophets.
Thy prophets.
The teachers.
Thy teachers.
Thy princes.
Thy princes.
Thy priests.
Thy priests.
The Israelite brothers.
Israelite brothers.
In the school.
In the school.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
Punishment and destruction.
Punishment and
To the
destruction.
heathen.
To the heathen.
Shake loose the treasure.
Shake loose the treasure.
The rich of Israel.
The rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
That refuse to give to the school.
Force thy riches.
Force their riches.
Into thy sanctuary.
To thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
Punishment and destruction.
Punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
The nations.
And the nations.
The drug dealers. The court system. The prison system. The Planned Parenthood. All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies. Roman Catholic Church.
Church.
Pope. Islam. Christianity. Scientology. Militia. Kush Klan. And your nation. Skinheads. Kamikaze. The gay movement. The lesbian movement. Spies. Workers of witchcraft. NASA space program. Army. Navy. Air Force. Marines. Wall Street. Open up the internet. The airways. The cable access channels. The radio channels. The convicted spirit of any of thy people. That seek to stop us. And bring swift destruction. To all the heathens. That stand in our way. And try to stop us. Broadcasting your word. Throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro. To the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief. And the murder. Let Yahushua, Michael and Gabriel. Come down with the flying saucer. Punish all the heathen. Come up against us. As we speak that word. Cause to be known by all. Because the angels have done it. Cause to be spread throughout the media. Throughout the whole world. Cause to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you always. So be it. All right, men of Israel, sorry, we're going to face each other, give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, Michael Shabbat, Amijah, Barak, sorry, face the sisters, give the sisters a courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Michael Shabbat, Amijah, Barak, Hasmataj, class dismissed.